Hey YouTube, I'm here to review the very first Harold and Kumar, known as Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, but I don't have the case for that movie. I have the case for all three, so what they did was they did it like this. They put the first one on top, the second one in the middle, and the third one on the bottom, at the bottom. Excuse me. So, it's the triple pack. Now, I'm going to be honest, before I get into this review, I hadn't even watched Harold and Kumar until a few months ago. Like back before, let me go take a look at this, because I hadn't seen Harold and Kumar, but I had seen Kal Penn in a couple videos, and he's the one who plays Kumar. Excuse me. Trying to think. Oh, there we go. So, something is not working right now. Oh, there we go. I think I was typing too fast the first few times. Oh. So what I took a look at was I was ordering Harold and Kumar, and I ordered it May 21st, and I guess I must have seen it in like March or April and then ordered it. So we start off with a guy called Harold, played by John Cho, and then Kumar, played by Kal Penn. Now if you don't know Kal Penn, he was in a tiny bit of Superman Returns. Kal Penn was in Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay, and A Very Harold and Kumar Christmas. So, and he was an epic movie, which is a stupid movie, but and Deck the Halls and Superman Returns. He was only in Superman Returns for a small, short few minutes or something. It was an epic movie. Actually, speaking of epic movie, he was making fun of Kumar in that movie, which was actually pretty funny. That's the reason they showed White Castle. So it starts off with a banker played by John Cho, who is persuaded by his colleagues Billy and JD to do their work while they leave for the weekend and have to be busy with clients, is what they said. And then Kal Penn attends a medical school interview, and he kind of spoke inappropriately in front of the guy with Harold on the phone. But then, I think Kumar, or no, Harold decided he could do it. He could do the work. And then they were smoking weed. They smoked weed, but Kumar was kind of clipping his pubes in Harold's room. In Harold's room, not your room. But, of course, he didn't have a mirror, but why couldn't he just take a look and trim his pubes like that? Look down. So, Kumar and Harold both smoke weed. And, Harold and Kumar are best friends and they live together. And then they're smoking weed, and then he said, we're so high right now, and Kumar's like, we're not low. And then when Harold did come home, I forgot to mention, there were these skater punks, and he was saying right in front of it, and then he was driving backwards, and then these skater punks came and said, "This is America, dude, learn how to fucking drive. Better luck tomorrow," are sticking their tongue out, and he's like, fucking assholes. And then at the end of that part, Kumar and Harold decide that they're hungry when they're getting high, and then, oh yeah, Kumar was trimming his pubes with Harold's scissors that he trims his nose hair with, but Kumar said he'd been cutting his ass hair for the past 6 to 8 months or something. It was either 6 or 8, and then he started with Harold's scissors though. That's disgusting. That's why you wash them all the time. Wash them from now on. Don't let anyone else use your scissors. But then after that, Harold and Kumar decided that they were hungry. So it was either delivery of Chinese food or deliver Asian food, I think. But he said, I don't feel like delivery tonight. And he said, how about KFC? Yeah. And he said, no, we've been there too many times. And he said, I want something that'll really hit the spot. I want the perfect food. And then they found out that then they saw an ad for White Castle. And trust me, their sliders, if you buy them at the store and heat them up, they're so good. I can just eat them and love them. They're like my favorite sliders of all time. So you start off, so they start going looking for White Castle, but that plan did not work. So, because, excuse me. Oh yeah, and they went into Newark, New Jersey because they were paying for a toll and it didn't register, so Kumar just raced through because everyone wanted to run into him or something. But then he got onto the highway and went to Newark, New Jersey, and there were 2 people who looked like Harold and Kumar. Kumar said they were lame versions of them, and then people started beating them, and then Harold and Kumar just raced on by, and they were going to the multiplex, next to the multiplex, and they said there was a White Castle right there, but then they went through the drive-thru and went to ask the Burger Shack employee, played by Anthony Anderson, what happened to the White Castle, and he said Burger Shack bought off the location 4 years ago, or like 3 years ago, something like that, 3 or 4 years ago. So Kumar and Harold were not, so Harold and Kumar were listening to what he said, and they said it was like 45 minutes away, located in Cherry Hill, like 45 minutes away from where they were, and then they were gonna go look for White Castle, but then they didn't have any weed, so Kumar went and bought weed at a college, I think, or at a university, and he didn't want to go see Cindy Kim. What's his name? Harold didn't. Harold had interest in this girl named Maria, but he never talked to her ever, but he saw her and liked her, and he liked the movie 16 Candles, but so they're going looking for White Castle, and they keep on getting into trouble everywhere. And at the university, there were these 2 British girls, I think, playing battleships, and they were taking dumps, and it was completely disgusting. Excuse me. Then they went to the hospital where Kumar's father and older brother worked for, and Kumar steals an ID badge from his father to obtain medical marijuana, and he was being mistaken for his brother, and then he had to perform surgery on a gunshot victim, and he was actually happy. And Kumar treats wounds, and he did a good job. And then he told them how to reach White Castle. And Harold spotted Maria and decided to get her attention so Harold could talk to her. Kumar did. But it didn't work out, and then the car crashed into a ditch, and then they were rescued by a guy called Freak Show, who had all these boils on his face and stuff in his ear, and the boils could pop out, and So what they decided to do was go go to the movies, or they, what am I thinking? Sorry, I got sidetracked there. They went to Freak Show's house, and then he said, if you want to go in, wash up, fuck my wife, and then he said, am I deaf, or did he just say we gotta fuck his wife? And Harold is like, he couldn't have said that. Who cares? You've seen Freak Show. What do you think his wife is gonna look like? And she said, oh, hi, boys. I'm Freak Show's wife, Leanne. You want some? You want some pink lemonade? I'll go get some, and I'll be back in a jiffy. And then they said, yeah. And then Harold's like, hot, hot. And Kumar's like, uh-huh. Man, I'm not gonna lie, she was pretty cute. But, yeah, comparing the Freak Show with all those boils and Leanne. And I'll post a link in the description to both of their pictures. And I'll link this movie into the description, maybe off of Wikipedia or IMDb. Because I've seen this movie at, like, probably more than 10 times now. Or maybe 50. I don't know. Oh yeah. Sorry, this is going to be off topic, but I told a kid in 5th grade I'd seen a movie almost 1,000 times, and he said, yeah, right. And he said that would be half of your life. But I watched movies more than 3 times in one day. Yeah, that's how much my brother said. I said, isn't it a waste of time to play this killing game? And he said, isn't it a waste of time to watch the same movie 3 million times? And my mom said, yeah. And my friend said, dude, not if it's a good movie. So speaking of this, I was looking forward, and then I was gonna see how they were gonna get to White Castle, and then they were gonna fuck Freak Show's wife, Leanne, and he said, did I ever say, I most certainly did not say you could fuck my wife, and he said, yeah, you did, and I said, did I? And he was confused about that, but yeah, he did. He said you could fuck my wife if you want, and she was having her boobs, and he's like, how about a foursome? And they ran out. Harold and Kumar just left. Just left the house. The next thing they did in the next movie, or the next thing they did in the movie, was they agreed not to talk about what just happened, and then after that, this is so funny. There was a guy, after Harold and Kumar fled in disgust, and then they noticed a hitchhiker on the road, and then they weren't going to pick him up, but then he stopped the car and he said, hey guys, thanks for picking me up, and Harold's like, this is my car, we're not picking up a hitchhiker, even though the one who was driving was Kumar, and then the car stopped and they said, hey guys, thanks for picking me up, and he said, oh, and they're like, excuse me, are you Neil Patrick Harris? And Neil Patrick Harris is like, yep. He kind of did the yep thing with something like this or like that, yep. Something like that, when it's like, yep. Something sort of like that, and I actually like Neil Patrick Harris. And if you don't know who Neil Patrick Harris is, he was Doogie Howser, and he's the guy who played Barney in How I Met Your Mother. You know, speaking of that, I've never seen Doogie Howser, but I've seen How I Met Your Mother. That's my favorite sitcom of all time. And then they stopped at They stopped at a gas station and asked to get back on the highway because Neil Patrick Harris had no idea where he was. And he said, forget about White Castle, let's go get some pussy, then we'll go to White Castle. And Neil Patrick Harris is gay in real life. And they said if Neil Patrick Harris wouldn't have said yes to the clip, Ralph Macchio would have taken over. And I like Ralph Macchio from The Karate Kid. And then, and by the way, Freak Show, when he rescued them, fixed their car for them. and Neil Patrick Harris was on ecstasy, and then they went to get directions to how to get back to how to get on the highway. But then after that, oh yeah, the skater punks were there. They were at the gas station, and they were destroying like bags of chips and everything. And quite frankly, for one, I think you can actually be arrested to that, because that's vandalism, and it's destruction of someone's property. And they were being rude to the manager, who was like, I think he was from Asia or something. I don't know necessarily where he was from, but they were destroying like bags of chips and everything, picking up chips, eating them, spanking and throwing shit at the guy. And then Kumar said, "Hey asshole, why don't you leave that Asian guy alone and go jerk off to some snowboarding videos?" That's offensive, but it was hilarious. And he said, "I didn't say you should do something about it." That was what I was taking a look at this movie, and I actually really enjoyed this movie. But then guess what happened? Neil Patrick Harris drives off with Harold's car, and then he was gonna cross because there were no cars everywhere, and he said, "What? Is there something about this button that does not understand urgency?" So he kept on hitting the button to get to a payphone to call someone, and then he was about to cross the road, but then a cop showed up, and he said, "What?" And he said, "Sorry. Oh yeah, speaking of that, Rosenberg and Goldstein almost hit Harold and Kumar out in the road, and they went, 'Roldy? Kumar?' Or something like that. Roldy was was Harold's nickname. And then in the end of the movie, Harold and Kumar, or at that part, Harold and Kumar are both being harassed by a cop. He said, "Excuse me, how could you give him a ticket?" Or he was like, "A ticket? Are you serious?" Kumar, shut up. Or he said, "A ticket? Are you serious?" And then the cop said, "Who the fuck are you, shitwad?" Actually, a cop should never do that to someone. I'm pretty sure a cop could be fired for harassing someone, because you're supposed to protect and serve, not to harass and douche. That's what cops do, is protect and serve, not harass and douche. Next up, Kumar was like, he gave him a ticket for jaywalking, $220, and it's like, $220? Are you crazy? And he said, "Kumar, shut up." And he said, "No, I know exactly what's going on here." "Excuse me, officer. Yeah, let me take a couple of guesses, alright? Yeah, you're probably a big asshole in your high school, right?" And he's like, "Absolutely right. Used to pick on guys like us every day, huh?" "With pleasure." And then graduation day came, and he went, "Yeah, and we went to college, and you went nowhere." And you thought, "Oh, how can I still give them shit? Oh, I know, I'll become a cop." Well, congratulations, your dream finally came true. Now, why don't you take this little quiet Asian guy with the ankle-sized name who treats you so well, and give him a couple other tickets. Better yet, just take him to jail. Huh? Better idea. Does that work out for you, Harold? Oh, good name, Harold. And he went, "Let's go, Harold. Thanks to your buddy." And then Harold ran at Kumar and tried to punch him in the face, but Kumar ducked and he punched the officer in the face, and he went, like, winked and clicked his tongue or something, and then brought him to jail. And then the next day he did it. He just brought him to, and then he was in jail. Harold got arrested for trying to punch Kumar, but accidentally punched the cop, and then Kumar faked a 911 call to the police so he could break Harold out of jail. And then there was a man who was there, African American man, who was reading a book, and he was walking out of a Barnes and Noble, and then he said a black guy robbed a store in Newark, and they arrested him, and he hadn't even been to Newark in months. So then they beat him, but a cop shouldn't be able to beat someone with force. That's, I think, against the law. And then then there was a talk about an escaped cheetah, but then there was there was Bradley, the guy who Kumar bought weed from and had a huge stash, and then the officer had a talk with him, Officer Promblo, who was the asshole cop, and actually something he did was he took all Harold's money out of his wallet and stuffed it in his pocket, which literally that cop could probably be suspended or fired, because you shouldn't be able to steal someone's money out of their wallet. Next up, Harold and Kumar broke out of the station, and then they thought there was a coyote, and he said, "No, it's just because... Should we be scared of coyotes? No, it's just because they sound scary." Then they saw the escaped cheetah, and he said, "Now, cheetahs are a different story." And the funny thing is, they had the... Harold had the beef jerky that he took from Rosenberg and Goldstein when he went to their house, and he said, "I told you not to bring the beef jerky," because they were going to ask Rosenberg and Goldstein to come with them to White Castle, but then they decided to stay at home and watch a movie with Katie Holmes showing off her tits. But then after that, they were hanging out all together, and then they were smoking weed because they stole the weed from the police station after they ran out, because there was a big going on in the police station. So Harold and Kumar bolt out and run. And then they got away, and then they went on a cheetah and got the cheetah high, and then they rode it. And then Kumar and Harold just didn't want to go to White Castle anymore, but then he saw Rosenberg and Goldstein eating hot dogs, and he wanted that feeling of satisfaction, so achieving their goals, so they wanted to go to White Castle. And then the skater punks were everywhere, and he said, and he got hit, and he said, "Why don't you just leave me alone? Or will you cut it out? What are you going to do about it, Mr. Miyagi?" And he was like, "Wata, wata, wata, wata." They were mimicking the Karate Kid, and to be honest, if they would have ever fought Mr. Miyagi would have beaten the shit out of them like that. And then the funny thing is, he said he had a recollection of what that guy said in the jail. There's no sense getting riled up every time someone gives you a hard time. The universe tends to unfold as it should. Then he said nothing. Then the skater punks laughed at him. But then he said, "We gotta go to White Castle." And Harold and Kumar said, "I knew you had it in you." So, what Harold did, is he said, "Follow my lead." And he said, "Your lead?" "Yeah." And then he said, "What are you doing?" "Oh shit." And then he started the car. That was the skater punk's truck, and he said, "Those pricks!" And he's like, "Get him!" And he's like, "My truck!" And then Kumar looked out of the window and flipped them off and said, "Thank you, come again." And they said, "Dude, that was so not extreme." I know, extreme skateboard punk number one. I know. They left they were getting, I guess they called the police to report it, and then they were heading out. They were hand gliding, and he said, "I've never hand glided before." He said, "What?" They had a hang glider, and then they left the dope in there, and then they were going to arrest all those skateboard punks instead of Harold and Kumar because they left the weed in there. So I'm pretty sure all the skater punks went to jail. And then they crashed into a tree and then went to White Castle, finally made it back. And then Harold and Kumar ordered 30 sliders each, 4 large cherry cokes, and 5 fries. A big meal, though. I would take like maybe 10 sliders and maybe 2 fries and a large cherry coke. Harold had 30 meat sliders, had 30 sliders, 5 fries, 4 large cherry cokes. Kumar had the same, but he had 4 large cherry diet cokes instead of 4 large regular cherry cokes. And then, I mean, cherry coke is actually pretty good. I love the taste of cherry coke. And then Kumar, in real life, Kal Penn is a vegetarian. So they made him vegetarian sliders. And then, but they didn't have any money, so who paid for it? Neil Patrick Harris. He showed up behind them and said, "Hey guys, let me pay for it. It's the least I could do." And he said, "The hell are you doing here?" And he said, "Well, you guys kept talking about White Castle last night. Started to make me crave it too." And he said, "Do you realize dude, where's my car? Where's his car, dude?" Actually, the same guy who directed Harold and Kumar directed Dude, Where's My Car? And what's funnier is Harold and Kumar is way funnier than Dude, Where's My Car? Dude, Where's My Car had some funny parts. And then at the end of that movie, Harold and Kumar finally had their White Castle sliders, and then they went back, and then Harold finally talked to Maria, but then he finally started kissing her, and it went a little bit crazy, and he went, oh fuck it, and then he started kissing her, and then she went, "We don't ever talk," and then he said, "Oh, White Castle," so I'm a little bit dizzy, but then she said, "Oh, fuck it," and then started making out with him. But you know what's really funny is his co-workers, Billy and JD, showed up at White Castle. And said, "What the fuck is going on here?" He said, "Harold?" And he said, "Harold? What are you doing? What happened to you, dude? What?" And he said, "Never mind me. What the fuck are you doing here?" And he said, "I thought you and JD were busy with clients all night. Isn't that why I had to do your work?" And he said, "Hey, Henry, what's going on?" He said, "Back off, cockboy. What I said to him goes double for you." And he said, "Cockboy? You just called me cockboy?" "Yeah, you know I did. You just stoned because you're not quick enough to think of a comeback." And he said, "You think I'm not quick enough? Guy thinks I'm not quick enough. Well, I got news for you. I am quick enough. Cockboy!" And he's like, And he said, "Listen, Harold, I'm really sorry. Don't bother with him. We'll take it up with Berenson tomorrow." And he said, "We ain't gonna tell Berenson that I'm your workhorse, that you think you can party all night and leave the work to the quiet Asian guy in the office." And he said, No, you don't understand." And he said, No, you don't understand." And he said, "I'm not doing your work for you anymore." And he's like, "And if either one of you douchebags ever tries to pull this shit again, I'll go to Berenson myself, tell him what's really going on, and I'll tell him how you both got gonorrhea from that prostitute in Atlantic City." But then Kumar was explaining why he wanted to become a doctor later. But then Kumar, Harold, Maria was gonna go to Amsterdam, and they said weed is legal in the Netherlands, so they were gonna go there. That's the end of this video. I will review the second one very shortly. Thank you all for watching. Stay up to date and subscribe. Check out this movie. Bye bye. Peace out.